Hi everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday, and if you're new here to the channel, hi, welcome in. Fridays we take a handful of the new releases and reissues and represses that came out today or within the last couple of weeks, and just give you an overview of some of what's going on and what's out. So if you like to talk about vinyl and what's new and just coming out, please do join us and think about subscribing. You can also follow us on our Instagram, which is Siren Records Monterey, Facebook page, Siren Records Monterey, and you can follow along that way if you feel so inclined. We always start with picks of the week, and we also post the list down below that's got everything in a kind of a alphabetical order with prices, and let's get to it. Picks of the week. Okay, my pick for you this week is the great Marcus King, and this is called Youngblood, and this is on American Recordings. Now, Marcus King, we have talked about him before. This is he broke with from his Marcus King band to kind of just be a solo artist. His last release was in 2020. It was called El Dorado, and if I'm not mistaken, that was also a pick of the week. Anyway, he to help him navigate his departure from the Marcus King band was the Black Keys, Dan Auerbach, and they have reunited on this album. Dan Auerbach's got a real talent for really keeping Marcus King on track and in the zone, and it makes for the most enjoyable listen. Marcus King is only 25 years old. He's been knocking around for a while. His father was like a hot shit guitar player and certainly did get passed down to his son here, because this guy is absolutely amazing. And so there's he's very inclined to ramble, and he's got this real loose-limbed kind of playing style about him, but extremely accomplished and very professional. He is amazing for just a 25-year-old. So anyway, Dan Auerbach knows how to kind of steer him into a lane where most of the songs on this are at that 3 or just under 4-minute mark, which is really great for the listener, but they're not like pop songs. This is definitely blues, rootsy rock, and he does it like no other. He's absolutely amazing. He's kind of letting his feelings kind of spill out more onto this in the songwriting. After, I guess, a bad breakup in 2021, he's got, he's got to get it out. But anyway, you can tell this guy just gets a thrill out of just, cranking up his amp and trying to sing just as loud as his guitar. And it really comes off great. He's fabulous. Now, there's 3 ways that this has come to us. There's the regular black vinyl, and that is just this sticker that looks like this. Or the indie exclusive on it is yellow vinyl, and it has this sticker here. But as an extra added little surprise, we've got this one with no sticker at all. And what the deal is with this one is we got 6 copies of these that were direct to consumer. So these were the ones that they had sold at the shows or through a website or something like that. They're very exclusive, and they can be forgiven for not having a sticker, a hype sticker on them, because they weren't really made to be sold at retail. We just kind of happened to get our hands on these, and just so you know, these are pink vinyl, opaque pink, kind of like this color here actually, and that's what's real special about that. So anyway, that is my pick for you. My second pick for you is The Sacred Souls, and this is self-titled. Now, this is on Penrose Records, and these oftentimes for Sacred Souls, first time's the charm. This band's first club dates kind of led to this record deal with the very revered Daptone label, and their first singles wrapped up more than 10 million streams in a year that garnered attention from places like Billboard, Rolling Stone, KCRW, and their first fans included people like Gary Clark Jr., the Black Pumas, Princess Nokia, and Timbaland. And now they're from San Diego, and they're ready to deliver another landmark first with this release of their self-titled LP. So their drummer says every step of the way has been so organic, and things just happen naturally when the 3 of us get together. So indeed, there's some really something inevitable about the sound of Sacred Souls, and it's really mixing easygoing 60s soul with the grit of early 70s R&B, and it's just a really, really great listen. There's hints of Chicano and Philly and Chicago, Memphis, even Panama Soul all turn up in this record. And while it's kind of tempting to toss around labels like retro with a deliberately analog collection like this, there's also something very distinctly modern about their sound, and it kind of defies an easy categorization. It's got a real rawness and sincerity about it, and it really kind of transcends time. So you'll really enjoy this. And if you like things like the Delvon Lamar Trio or Duran Jones and the Indications, which kind of borrow from that, soul vibe, you're going to love this too. So yay. Those are two really strong picks for you this week. And now I've just got some new releases and reissues to tell you about. Now, is there a lot more out than just this? Yes, there is, but we do what we can, right? And the first thing that I have to show you is Blondie, Against the Odds. And this is 1974 to 1982. This one here is the 4 LP box. There's even a more deluxe version. It's also got this book in it and the 4 LPs. Okay, so what this is, it is the first ever authorized and in-depth archive in Blondie's history. So this 4 LP black vinyl set, it features the very best of the outtakes from the Super Deluxe Collector's Edition. And it's remastered from the original analog tapes and cut at Abbey Road Studios. It includes a 112-page book featuring an exhaustive look at Blondie's international notoriety via picture sleeves and regional pressings. And also, let's see, it had some other info going here that was, this book is detailed track-by-track notes and copious interviews with the band and more people that, were around at the time. So it's got, like, for the Blondie purist, also I think it has stuff that hasn't been released on vinyl before, or has, just unreleased stuff. It's just chock-a-block full of all kinds of, here it's telling you here. It's, all right, 36 previously unreleased bonus tracks are on this thing. So it's a really nice piece, and it's, very, very concise, and there's been a lot of work put into that to give you all kinds of new stuff that they've unearthed, okay? All right, next up, this is Joe Chambers, and this is called Almoravid, and it's on the Life Goes On Records label. And this is the debut album led by drummer Joe Chambers, recorded in 1971 through 1973. So 2 cuts are from 1971, and they match Chambers with trumpeter Woody Shaw, trombonist Garnett Brown, Harold Vick on the tenor and flute, keyboardist George Cables, and bassist Cecil McBee. So then in 1973, Chambers, Cedar Walton, and bassist Richard Davis were joined by 3 percussionists while on the November 1973 session. And it has Chambers with electric bassist Walter Booker recording the same trio of percussion players. So overall, 4 of the pieces are Chambers originals, while there is 1 song apiece from Joe Zwaniel and Andrew Hill. Okay, so some people say that, it could have been more, but, it's available for those that, want to get into that and flesh out their collection. So you can decide, right? Oh, next up, this is Chime School, and it's on cassette, and this is self-titled. This is on Slumberland Records. Now, Chime School, they're the project of a San Francisco musician. His name is Andy Pastelaniak. And anyway, he's endlessly charmed by 80s indie and 60s forebearers that they pay homage to the formative jangle of people like the Byrds and early Primal Scream, the Springfields, and the production and pop sensibility of bands like Biff Bang Pow and the Razor Cuts are influential here too. The spirit of great singles labels like Creation, Postcard, and Sarah, really into that and very influenced by that. So I have the cassette for you now. I believe that there is also a CD maybe coming in the next week or so. But for now, the cassette is there and available. Okay, so then as a reissue, this is a nice piece. This is Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young Deja Vu 2021 by the Atlantic Catalog Group. Now, 2021, what does that mean? This is CSNY's beloved album, and it sold more than 8 million copies. And this is the album piece. It was before the 2021 remasters came out on this big deluxe box where it was something like 4 CDs and the LP. And then I think there was a record store day release where you could get this. Well, anyway, now it's available for everyone. It's just the Deja Vu album. It has the textured cover that was, maybe this is not as heavy as it originally was when it first came out, but it's very nice that it's like raised and textured to mimic the original. And yeah, all the beloved 2021 remasters. So that's here for you now too. All right, this is Delicate Steve, and it's called After Hours, and it's on the Anti Records label under the name Delicate Steve. This guitarist extraordinaire, Steve Marion, he has spent the better part of the last decade establishing himself as one of those most wildly innovative and widely revered players in the music game. And he's recorded with Paul Simon, he's been sampled by Kanye West, he's toured with the Black Keys, and released 4 critically acclaimed albums of this genre-bending instrumental music that he makes himself. He's your favorite musician's favorite musician. He's like one of those guys, okay? So he's a virtuoso songwriter, producer, and performer, and he just occupies his own lane entirely. The weird thing is that he says he's never liked the sound of the electric guitar. Okay, he said he's tried everything under the sun to get away with it until now. So this was written and recorded on this white 1966 Fender Stratocaster that reignited his love for the instrument. And so this is a captivating new album here, After Hours. It marks first for him in an earnest, easygoing collection that revels just in the simple joys of plugging in and playing. So the songs are very sweet and breezy. They're pairing vintage soul grooves with memorizing and wordless melodies. His production is very subtle and restrained, but you know, it's full of intuition and serenity and transcendence. It's a very nice record. So this guy is another one, hot shit guitar player, but you know, kind of rediscovering his love for the instrument on this one. All right, next up we have Dokken Greatest Hits, and this is on Deadline Music. And with over 10 million albums sold, these 80s hard rock legends offer this collection of newly recorded fan favorites. I think that I want to say Don Dokken is their singer, and I think that, you know, his voice is obviously more mature now, and they actually have a different guitar player than they did when these songs were all out in the 80s. So anyway, they felt the need to re-record them, and it's got a different sound to it, but you know, the compilation includes metal anthems of theirs like Breaking the Chains, Dream Warriors, In My Dreams, Tooth and Nail, and more. And it's now available on this limited edition blue splatter vinyl that you can see looks like this. Okay, so Dokken for you. And then we have a reissue of The Doors' LA Woman. Electric Catalog Group put this one out, and this is the 6th studio album by the rock band The Doors. It was originally released in April of 1971. LA Woman was recorded in November of 1970 over 6 days at the workshop that was their rehearsal space in Santa Monica, on Santa Monica Boulevard, I should say. It was a success both critically and commercially. The album contains some of their most enduring singles, including Riders on the Storm, Love Her Madly, and the title track, LA Woman. Original 1971 stereo mix remastered on 180-gram vinyl. All right, this is Lupe Fiasco, Drill Music in Zion. This is another one with explicit lyrics, just so you know. This is on the label First and 15th too. This is the 8th studio album by American hip-hop recording artist Lupe Fiasco. It's an unpredictable force who's unafraid to speak his truth. He merges the modern with the classic for another like powerful project here. There's nothing to prove, no features or flashy hooks or bells or whistles. It's just his most accessible album in 7 years. And this is on indie exclusive blue vinyl, and it even says it on the sticker. Yay. Okay, this is an interesting piece. This is Flower Traveling Band. This is called Made in Japan, and this is also on the Life Goes On Records label. This band, they're an esoteric Japanese psychedelic rock heavy metal outfit from Tokyo that was first active from 1969 to the early 1970s. Made in Japan. It's not as famous as their predecessor, which was called Satori. That's like a very well-renowned and respected record. This one, it includes some strong moments as well, but it's not quite up to that same. They set the bar pretty high, and they didn't quite get back there with this record. But it's the style has a more progressive elements and than it did before. But the overall sound is very similar to their earlier work. It's guitar-driven, raw, psychedelic hard rock, and it's got some very good songwriting. Okay, on vinyl finally is the Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and this is the label is PG Lang Top Dog Entertainment / Aftermath. So anyway, he released this album, his first in 5 years, in 2022 earlier, but it was digital CD, that sort of thing. Now finally on vinyl, on 180-gram double vinyl. The album sees him overcome writer's block to triumph with a collection of which his observational skills go into overdrive. On the surface of this record, he comes off as sort of a hood messiah. You just like see the crown of thorns that he sports on the artwork. Endless prophetic verses about change, or most explicitly when he describes himself as Christ with a shooter, or on Rich Spirit, but on Savior, which features his younger cousin, Baby Keem, he reminds the world that he's not perfect enough to be seen this way. So, cat's out of the bag, I'm not your savior, I find it just as difficult to love thy neighbors. I hear you. On this, he grapples with cancel culture and capitalism and COVID, all themes throughout this. He likes to have a theme for his records, and there you go. And I believe this is his family pictured on the front with him here. So anyway, finally available on vinyl. There you go. And then we have the Lemonheads self-titled. This is on Vagrant Records. This is the 25th anniversary edition of this. Now, this was the 8th studio album by the Lemonheads. And it was the first after their return from like a 9-year hiatus when they first signed to Vagrant. But most listeners with a soft spot for those early 90s Lemonheads records will get really a good spin out of this. It represents maturity and growth on their part while retaining kind of the essence of what made the Lemonheads great. It's a little too short given the long wait in between, but overall it's everything an excellent pop record should be. And this anniversary edition, 25th anniversary edition, it's on yellow, black, and green color and color limited edition vinyl. And I think last week I was like, well, what in the hell is color and color? But that, it is the blobs. So you have like a black blob that's sitting inside of a yellow blob that goes into green. So that's what color and color is. Now we all know. Okay, next up, this is Madlib, Medicine Show number 3, Beat Conducta in Africa, and it's on the Madlib Invasion label. 37-track instrumental hip-hop album produced by Madlib, inspired and based on African records of the early 1970s, obscure and independent vinyl gems from Afrobeat, funk, psych rock, and garage rock and soul movements from Africa. This is the indie exclusive. It is on Deep Purple vinyl, and it even says so. Yeah. Now, this is a nice piece here, too. And this one is Curtis Mayfield's Superfly, the soundtrack. Believe it or not, this is the 50th anniversary of this, and this is the deluxe edition on Run Out Groove / Rhino. This is the 3rd studio album by American soul musician Curtis Mayfield. It was released in July of 1972 on Curtom Records, and it was released as the soundtrack for the blaxploitation film of the same name, widely considered a classic 1970s soul and funk music. Superfly was a nearly immediate hit. Its sales were bolstered by 2 million selling singles, Freddie's Dead, and the title track, Superfly. It's one of the few soundtracks to actually outgross the film it accompanied. So the record made more money than the actual film. Okay, so along with Marvin Gaye's What's Going On in 1971, this was one of the pioneering soul concept albums of the day, with its then uniquely written, socially aware lyrics about poverty and drug abuse, making the album stand out. This is a 2 LP 50th anniversary edition, expands the album with a bonus disc of demos And it also includes the movie poster, new liner notes, never before seen photos, and a custom turntable slip mat exclusive to this limited release. Very nice. Okay, and this is Lizzy McAlpine, 7 Seconds Flat. This is on the Harbor label, and 2022 artist to watch. Lizzy has crafted a very deeply intimate and beautiful album featuring Grammy Award winners Phineas and Jacob Collier on here with her. This second album elevates her previous narrative work. It builds upon raw lyricism that extends her storytelling through longer exploration of heartbreak. This album is a narrative masterpiece. It's artfully telling a story of love and loss with emotional songs that kind of really get you fully engaged. It proves her ability to really structure a story with an album, and it kind of, she's really sidestepped the sophomore slump that so many people have with their second release. This is with a much more mature production, very stellar lyrics, and a fearless creativity. So she is one to watch. Very great. Okay, this next piece, it's an interesting one. This is Brett McKenzie, Songs Without Jokes. Now, Brett McKenzie is half of the duo of Flight of the Conchords. An accomplished musician, does like a lot of stuff that is always been zany and funny. And here he's, this is on Sub Pop, by the way. So he's trying something different here. And with his life split between Los Angeles and his family in Wellington, New Zealand, the Song of Songs focuses on themes of escape and perpetual search for peace and navigating a life being pulled in multiple directions at once. There's also simple meditations on driving through a city and the weather. So he was inspired by the path icons like Randy Newman and Harry Nilsson and what that they had paved, and where like a silly or a playful number could kind of be sandwiched directly between a song about heartbreak or earnest redemption and scathing satire or character commentary. But anyway, he threw a bit of everything into the mix, recording ideas on his phone at home in New Zealand and then back in LA, fine-tuning the songs with a producer and collaborator, Mickey Petralia, and longtime film collaborator, Chris Caswell. So it showcases this new stage of Brett McKenzie's career, to be sure, but the one that it isn't so far removed from his past work. He's a true artist, for sure. The thing that I find with this is I got the same feeling listening to this as I do with when Seth MacFarlane makes an album. It's almost like they do it because they can. I feel like this guy's a very talented musician, but I wish it was better songs, because again, they tend to ride that fine line of being like novelty songs. And I don't have the patience to sit there and listen to that over and over again. And I get that exact same feeling with like Seth MacFarlane. But anyway, this is the loser edition here, as seen by the label on the front. And that is means it's on blue and white smoke vinyl. And it also is on CD for you here too, if you want to try that out. So like I said, I have a lot of respect for this guy. I really think he's a very talented guy, but it's not for me. A couple of listens and, all right, that was probably, good enough. All right, next up, this is Muse, Will of the People. This is on Warner Records. Now, their singer, Matt Bellamy, has this quote for you about what this is all about. He said, "This album was created in Los Angeles and London and is influenced by the increasing uncertainty and instability in the world, a pandemic, new wars in Europe, massive protests and riot, and an attempted insurrection, Western democracy wavering, rising authoritarianism, wildfires and natural disasters, and the destabilization of the global order, all informed will of the people." And it's been a worrying and scary time for all of us. The Western Empire and the natural world, which have cradled us for so long, are genuinely threatened. This album is a personal navigation through those fears and a preparation of what is to come next. So, again, Muse is another one, very accomplished, very good band. Just, I find personally, it's a little bit, their songs tend to be a little bit too anthemic. It's almost like that sort of chest beating, anthems. And I feel like when they write music, they're not just writing a song or storytelling, it's always, it seems to me, in the back of their minds, it's to go outward in what do I want to say? Project to a stadium. That's the way I feel about them. That's how they come across to me. Not saying the music is bad. It's just that the theatrics are a little overblown, I feel. Anyway, this is on black, or on the limited edition is cream colored vinyl, and you can get that both ways. And let's see, does it say? Yes, it says cream vinyl here, and it says black vinyl here. So just have a look at that, and if you're coming to buy and you want to tell them one from the other. Okay. Next up, New York Dolls. This is red patent leather, the original red, and it's on the LMR label. Red patent leather was recorded in 1975 from the Little Hippodrome in New York City. They're the last recorded shows from the classic lineup, which includes David Johansen, Johnny Thunders, Sylvain, Kane, Jordan, and Nolan. And it's a one-time pressing of the original red color vinyl. And it's this cult classic is a French import, and it includes this OB strip here, a single jacket with one pocket, printed inner sleeve, and the original red color vinyl with original record labels. So that's a nice piece for your New York Dolls section. Okay, this is Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. It's called An Evening with Silk Sonic, and this is on the Atlantic label. It's a full-length debut collaboration between Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. It's inspired by 1970s funk, soul, and R&B music. Every track on this album will certainly leave people clamoring for more. It's an intended homage to the music that made Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, the stuff that they grew up on or were influenced by. They're making this music because they like it, because they want to, and because they can. So there's the debut, and very enjoyable. Okay, now we have Slipknot. We Are Not Your Kind. This is on Roadrunner Records. This is another reissue. We've been having a few Slipknot reissues trickle in week after week, okay? This is the 6th studio album by the American heavy metal band Slipknot. It's a youthful rage of their past still lingers, but this LP really kind of shows how much that they've grown in that time. And if one were to say We Are Not Your Kind is a new form of Slipknot, that'd be missing the bigger point. This LP encompasses all that has been Slipknot, from the guttural grinding of guitars to the blends of singing and screaming to the mix of hectic and somber atmosphere. They're Iowa metalers. They touch upon elements found throughout their discography on this one. So it's on limited edition light blue vinyl and gatefold sleeve. Okay, this is Sophie Tucker, Wet Tennis, and this is on the Sophie Tucker LLC label. So this is a genre-defying duo of Sophie Holly Weld and Tucker Halpern. And they're kind of celebrated for their inclusive and global perspective of electronic music, as well as their work themes of liberation, unity, self-empowerment, that kind of thing. So now they're back with this new album. It's a highly anticipated follow-up to their Grammy-nominated debut album, Treehouse. And Wet Tennis is an acronym, and when everyone tries to evolve, nothing negative is safe. So Wet Tennis is about forward movement, optimism, positive growth, no matter what the challenge. Wet Tennis is a dedication to constantly evolving and celebrating aliveness, and Wet Tennis is a lifestyle. It says, everything is better when wet. Wetness is the excitement, Mother Nature, movement, flow, sweat, and juice. It's athletic and elegant. It's loud and bright. And these qualities will all be on display here when they come to town, both on stage and in the audience. And happy electronic, positive music. Okay, that's like kind of a nice thing these days. Okay, this is Regina Spektor, 1111 on the Sire label. Now, this is her debut record that is available now for the first time on vinyl. It was originally self-released in July of 2001, and the album was sold at her early shows, and it's been long out of print. 1111 has now been remastered, and it's her most intimate album where she had all the time in the world to show off her vocal talent and poetic skills, as well as her sheer originality. So despite very clever lyrical writing and hooks, both serious and humorous, she reverts to kind of strange vocal noises on this album more than ever, That was, like I said, this was the debut, and it's like more sparing these days. Okay. Okay, and then we have Wind Hand, Levitation Sessions, and this is on the label is Reverberation Appreciation Society. This is a Virginia-based quartet. I think they came out of Texas originally, but based in Virginia. They quickly have risen to the top of the heavy rock music scene with their kind of genre-defying take on doom and psychedelia. So this originally aired in November of 2020. During the height of the great quarantine of the planet Earth, and they delivered one of the heaviest levitation sessions to date. And here it is proudly immortalized with the performance in full on double vinyl gatefold LP. So at the time of the recording, the band had noted that it was really great to get together with each other after so many months apart and plug in all the gear and let the demons loose once again. So this is an indie exclusive. It's on green vinyl, and yeah, very nice. Okay, guys, that is my pack that I have for you this week. I tried to keep it short and sweet, and we're just going over the 30-minute mark now. So I'm doing my best to try to keep these manageable, and thanks for joining me. I hope you find something great. I really hope you check out that Marcus King, because it's just so terrific, and like I am so impressed by someone so young, and also the Sacred Souls, beautiful stuff. So have a listen, and I hope you found something here that you're interested in, and I'll see you guys next time.